Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 22, Before the Mission. Oh, by the way, I forgot to start the live broadcast. Walking on the road, Wu Lioqi suddenly slapped his head and quickly started the live broadcast. Shua. In an instant, all the group members appeared, even Xiao and Rem who had been offline before appeared. Wow, cool, is this the adventure of the other world? When can I go and play? Xiao looked at the few people and couldn't help but yearning. I can feel that they are all very strong. Rem is no match. It feels so dangerous. Through the live broadcast room, everyone felt like they were in the scene, so they could also feel the breath of everyone on the scene. Some people can know how strong they are even through the breath or energy emitted from their bodies. At this time, Wu Lioqi led a few people to his residence. Ji Dabio and Xiaofei were also here. Seeing that Wu Lioqi really brought a few people, they couldn't help but surround him. Achi, is this your friend? Why have I never heard you say it before? They are friends I knew before I lost my memory. Wu Lioqi didn't know how to explain, so he simply said that the other party was his friend before he lost his memory. So that's how it is. Hello, handsome guys. My name is Ji Dabio, this is Xiaofei, we are good friends of Achi. Ji Dabio came to the front of several people and said with a smile. In fact, Ji Dabio was tortured by humans before, and his good friend, Xiaofei's father Davei, was also killed by the Pheasant King because of this, so he has always hated humans. But since he met Wu Lioqi, under his poor assassination skills, he always helped the assassinated people, which also made Ji Dabio see the kind side of humans, so now he treats humans quite well. Hey, hello, my name is Wendy, this is Tony and Uchiha Madara, nice to meet you. Wendy was obviously interested in this talking chicken. Hello. Tony said hello, and then looked around. Uchiha Madara was more aloof, nodded and responded, and stood there with his hands folded on his chest and closed his eyes to rest. By the way, since you are Achi's good friends, can we settle the medical expenses for Achi's treatment? Ji Dabio suddenly smiled and rubbed his hands, intending to deduct some money from them. After all, he still owed the miracle doctor $1 million bill. Dabio, how can you do this? He came here to help me this time. Wu Lioqi was about to pull Ji Dabio aside when he heard it, which was really embarrassing. Wendy looked at Tony when he heard it, and Uchiha Madara did not move. They all knew that Tony was the only rich man here, but Tony's US dollars were useless here. This is easy, these things should be able to help you pay off the medical expenses. Tony smiled when he heard it, and snapped his fingers casually, and countless invisible nanoparticles appeared from the ring in his hand, gradually forming a small box. This is the nanotechnology that Tony mastered in the later period of the Avengers. Now he has learned it in advance in the chat group, and immediately applied it to the new Iron Man armor, and there are also some space technology applications in it. Tony opened the palm-sized box, and saw diamonds of various sizes displayed inside, almost blinding Ji Dabio's eyes. I thought about this before I came here. We can't let our Achi keep owing money, so I brought some small gifts to pay off his medical expenses. As for the rest, it belongs to you, Dabio. Seeing Dabio's excited face, Tony smiled and handed the box of diamonds to Ji Dabio. Hey, this. Is it really for me? It was the first time that Ji Dabio saw so many diamonds, not to mention that this represented countless small amounts of money, which made him tremble with excitement. He quickly snatched them from Tony's hand and looked at them one by one. Dabio, can we stop your money grubber look first? I feel ashamed. Wu Lioqi couldn't help but cover his face, which was really embarrassing to the world. Haha, this Dabio is so cute. Although he is a money grubber, he is very loyal to Achi for owing such a huge sum of money. Xiao laughed in the live broadcast room. Everyone knows Xiao's personality, and she is still a child, so even if she is a little noisy, they don't care. Instead, they like this little guy. By the way, Dabio, I am also a scientist. When Achi's work is done, we can exchange research experience. I am very interested in some of your inventions. Tony came here this time and liked some of Ji Dabio's inventions. This is a very talented blue-feathered chicken. And Tony's way of science and technology requires continuous absorption of various knowledge to strengthen his own science and technology. The so-called knowledge is power, which means this. Really? There is no problem at all. You should be from the country of Stir. If there are any good inventions, we can study them together. Stir is a country with extremely advanced science and technology in the world, so for Tony's statement, Ji Dabio subconsciously thought that the other party was from Stir. This time, because of the diamonds Tony brought, Ji Dabio became the richest chicken, so he agreed with Tony's proposal and regarded it as a reward for the other party's money. Tony didn't say much after hearing this, and Ji Dabio regarded it as the other party's tacit acknowledgement that he was from the country of Stir, so he didn't have any doubts. Hey, hello, Xiaofei, my name is Wendy. At this time, Wendy suddenly found Xiaofei, and he was quite interested in this little chicken. Chirp chirp. Xiaofei jumped and flapped his wings, speaking incomprehensible chicken language. This is my first time coming to Chicken Island. Do you want me to play a piece of music for you? I am the top bard. Wendy nodded and took out her harp. Sky, pseudo, because the real one is still enshrined in the Zephyr Cathedral in Mondstadt. Ji Dabio didn't know what a bard was because there was no such profession in this world, but he didn't care. Instead, he noticed that the other party seemed to be able to understand Xiaofei's words. Can you understand Xiaofei? Ji Dabio was so surprised that his sunglasses were crooked. He didn't expect that there was someone other than himself who could understand Xiaofei's words. Because Xiaofei has never grown up and cannot speak human language, he can only crow. This means that only Chicken Dabio, who is also a chicken, can understand it, and Wu Lioqi only half understands it. Yes, what's so difficult about this? I can be proficient in the language of any species. Wendy smiled when she heard this. As one of the original 7 gods of the David continent, Wendy is known as one of the 7 rulers of the world. Even though his divine power has now dissipated and most of his power is gone, he still has some special abilities and can listen to the voices of all things. I don't know if it exists in the original version, but as a wind elf, he can talk to the wind demon dragon, so he should be able to talk to other animals. Although this is a power given by the David continent, generally speaking, this power will not exist after leaving the David continent. But because of the existence of the chat group, he can continue to use this power. G-Daveo didn't think much about it anymore, maybe this was his talent. This world is full of strange abilities, and it's not surprising that one has the ability to communicate with other species. Time passed slowly as everyone communicated, and soon the time of the mission came, which meant that the enemy was about to arrive. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 23 Source Beast. It's time, let's go. Wu Lioqi looked at the time and walked out first. The others followed closely and went together. Iggy, where are you going? G-Daveo stopped Wu Lioqi and asked. Daveo, Zaiji Island will be in danger soon. You and Zaifi find a place to hide first. They came here to help me solve the problem this time. Wu Lioqi said quickly and left the barber shop directly. Zaiji Island is in danger? Who would come here for what? G-Daveo was stunned when he heard it, but he didn't want Wu Lioqi to go to danger alone, so he decided to take Zaifi to watch from the side first, and then slip away if it didn't work. On a rooftop not far from the barber shop, a woman in a green training suit, with a long braid behind her and a dagger tied to it, stared at Wu Lioqi and his group expressionlessly. Mai Washizen was originally going to find Wu Lioqi this time, but when she saw that he suddenly brought 3 people with him, she did not act rashly. She could feel that one of them was full of terrifying power. She had never felt this feeling on her master, which made her feel incredible, so she decided to follow Wu Lioqi and his group to see what they were going to do. Although she did not feel anything about the other 2, the one who could be together must not be a simple character. Following the guidance of the chat group, everyone came to a mountaintop on Chicken Island, where they could overlook the entire Chicken Island and there were no other people. At this time, there were wisps of cracks in the space here, and a black mist was spreading, making people feel extremely uncomfortable. Haha, it seems that someone followed us here. Wendy casually stroked the harp and said with a smile. Well, it seems to be Achi's girlfriend. Uchiha Madara rarely teased. Although he was not familiar with some of the newcomers in the chat group, as the first people to enter the chat group, they actually had a good relationship. Even people like Uchiha Madara could occasionally make a joke. Hey, Miss May, you're here too. Wu Lioqi looked at the place where Mai Washizen was hiding and greeted him happily. Among the people present, only Tony relied on technology to fight, so he had only a vague understanding of the methods of perception of others, so he did not sense Mai Washizen's tracking. However, Wu Lioqi and others were different. They all had their own methods of perception to a certain extent. Since Wu Lioqi recovered his strength, coupled with his previous training, he had the confidence to defeat the leader of the Shadow Assassins. Wu Lioqi was able to find me. Did others tell him? Mai Washizen was shocked when he saw this, thinking that Wendy and others told him. After all, he knew how bad Wu Lioqi was before. Chew it. With a move, Mai Washizen came to Wu Lioqi. Wu Lioqi, why did you come here? Why do I feel an uncomfortable breath? Mai Washizen asked Wu Lioqi while secretly guarding against Uchiha Madara and others. This is the vigilance of a warrior. Not only that, she could also feel that something was wrong here, and the air seemed to be filled with an uncomfortable atmosphere. Wu Lioqi was about to speak, but the question suddenly said, "Here we are, get ready for battle, everyone be careful." Wu Lioqi saw this and said no more, and the magic knife Kinran suddenly appeared in his hand. Looking at the magic knife Kinran in Wu Lioqi's hand, Mai Washizen was shocked, but she didn't have time to think about it, and changes occurred in front of her. The space that was originally a crack was suddenly stretched open, revealing the dark space inside. Then, a black claw stretched out from it, and then the whole creature came out of it, allowing everyone to see the full appearance of the other party. This is a humanoid monster, with a body as black as ink, red eyes, and a palm that is much larger than that of a human, and extremely sharp. There is a bone spur on each arm, sharp black thorns stand on the back, and there is a red diamond crystal on the chest. This is a source beast, the most vicious creature in the universe. They feed on the origin of a world and invade other worlds everywhere, so they are called source beasts. Any creature in the universe will feel disgust from the bottom of their hearts when encountering a source beast, because they are the enemy of all creatures, whether evil or not. As for the origin of the source beast, there is an ancestor among the source beasts, which can reproduce infinitely. It is a source beast of the avenue level, and you don't need to care about it. Shichen's voice sounded in the live broadcast room at the right time, letting everyone understand this monster. Source beasts have the characteristics of immortality, and can evolve by absorbing the origin of the world, so they only need a few source beasts each time to destroy a world. After all, when they absorb the origin of the world, few people can find it. Except for the weakness of the crystal stone on the chest, there is no way to kill them, but the crystal stone on the chest is also their hardest place, and they can use this to absorb the origin of the world. After briefly introducing the characteristics of the monster, Shichen hit himself, and the next thing was left to them. Okay, now that we know the opponent's weakness, it will be easy to solve it. Tony said, and pointed at his chest. Countless nanoparticles instantly wrapped around his whole body, and a brand new Iron Man suit appeared on his body. Miss May, these things are called source beasts. You must pay attention to them. They cannot be killed anywhere except the crystal weakness on their chests. Knowing that Mai Wa 13 could not know about the chat group, Wu Lioqi quickly told her. Then, under the gaze of everyone, about a dozen source beasts appeared. It's not easy to deal with. There are actually more than a dozen source beasts, but fortunately there is only one third level source beast, 4 second level, and the rest are first level. Uchiha Madara said as he looked at the source beasts. If no one in the chat group came to help, I'm afraid that with their almost immortal characteristics, plus a third level source beast, they can directly sweep the entire world. The upper limit of the strength of this world is the second level, so even the leader of the Shadow Assassin is about the middle of the second level. Wu Lioqi can now reach the late second level. Although a world has a cultivation level limit, it can allow the existence of one level higher than the world level limit to descend. If the strength is higher, there will be only two results: either you can't enter this world, or the world will be blown up by powerful energy. Wendy, the two of us will first eliminate the opponent's strongest, and the rest of us will hold back the other source beasts first. Uchiha Madara commanded. As a person who has participated in many ninja world wars, he has extremely rich combat experience. Even if he is not facing a human now, it does not affect his command experience. Understood, the wind is coming. Wendy took out a longbow from somewhere and released magic casually. As the god of wind, he had made many weapons, but he gave them all to others. His own weapon was originally the wings of the sky, which was a longbow, but later became the sky harp, which was enshrined in the cathedral of Mondstadt. Today's weapons are just made by himself and temporarily requisitioned. Susanoo. Uchiha Madara also directly used a big move to open Susanoo and turned into a giant several tens of meters high. The two attacked the third level source beast together, and divided the battlefield very tacitly, so that the opponent would not affect Wu Lioqi and others. Seeing this, the others also found an opponent to fight. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 24: The Big Bosses of Chicken Island. It's hard to handle. There are too many enemies for us to take care of. Several origin beasts want to escape. Wu Lioqi looked at his group and was a little overwhelmed. After all, there were more enemies than him and the others. As for myself and others, although they can barely equal the opponent in terms of high-end combat power, the opponent still has many first-level ones. The strength of the Plum Blossom 13 on my side is only around the late first level, and it is already somewhat dangerous at this time. Shua. At this time, several figures appeared on the battlefield, and Wu Lioqi still had time to look over. Director Zhang, Old Beggar, Wang Fen, Mao Xiaomi, and Da Chun are here. Come and help us quickly. Wu Lioqi was overjoyed when he saw this. These are the bosses hidden on Zaiji Island. The strongest is still Director Zhang and the Old Beggar Ming Hua. Wu Lioqi, what's going on? Director Zhang saw the people fighting and asked Wu Lioqi quickly. She could feel a dangerous aura, especially the three people fighting not far away, which made her feel even more frightened. You guys, stop watching the show. These monsters have come from other worlds and want to destroy our world. I will explain the details to you later. Help us deal with them quickly. Wu Lioqi waved his magic knife. Jian Ren explained to several people. I did feel a disgusting aura. It seems that I have to take action, old man. The old beggar, Lian Minghua, licked his nostrils and said seriously. Wow, Xiaomi, let's go help too. Meow, crazy brother, I got it. For the sake of peace on Chicken Island, I'm here too. Wang Feng and Mao Xiaomi joined the battlefield together, and at the same time summoned their respective cat and dog subordinates. Da Chun also joined the battlefield, and used his indestructible boy body to fight head-on with the opponent in an instant. Pay attention, their weak point is on the crystal stone on their chest. Apart from this, they cannot be killed by other methods. Wu Lioqi said quickly when he saw this. Boy, why are you so strong now? I feel like you are almost the same as me. While fighting, the old beggar did not forget to talk to Wu Lioqi. The old beggar Luan Minghua is not bragging. As the leader of the largest gang in Suanwu Kingdom, and in a country that favors martial arts, it shows how strong Luan Minghua is. He once took out a martial arts secret book and could make Wu Lioqi become invulnerable to all poisons. Uncle, I have found my own strength. Wu Lioqi said with a smile. No wonder the 1,000 blades of the demonic sword is in your hand, but I feel like you are still that stupid. Luan Minghua nodded. He knew Wu Lioqi's identity, not to mention the famous demonic sword. 1,000 blades. But I'm still curious. Now that his strength is back, his memory will also come back. Chi, the strongest assassin in the Suanwu Kingdom, was a guy who killed people without blinking an eye, but he was not as stupid as Wu Lioqi today. Please stop complaining about me and resolve the battle quickly. I know you are more than capable. Boy, it seems you know a lot of things. Death Minghua became serious after hearing this. What the hell are these things? The good little Chicken Island has been so badly damaged. If Wu Lioqi doesn't give me an explanation later, then I will definitely give him a fine. Director Jiang Seal is still there, so she was able to worry on the sidelines, but now all her strength has been sealed. Xiao Zhang, how about I help you unlock the seal? Lan Minghua looked at Director Zhang aside and said with a lewd smile. After living on Zaiji Island for so long, he was familiar with basically every reputable person, so he knew Director Jiang's identity after some investigation. Go away, how could I fall in love with a sloppy old beggar like you? Director Zhang roared when he saw this, and couldn't help but growl at the other party. Oh, forget it, Wu Lioqi, come here. Seeing the stalemate among the people, Director Zhang finally made up her mind as a person with a strong sense of justice. Ah, what? Upon hearing this, Wu Lioqi turned and looked in the direction of Director Zhang. Suddenly a soft touch touched his mouth, and then he saw Director Jiang's old face. The two people's lips closed as soon as they touched, and then Director Zhang Shuangzia blushed and formed a seal with his hands. The White Lotus blooms. As Director Zhang used White Lotus bloom, endless brilliance circulated, and his appearance changed into what he looked like when he was young. I'll go, Director Zhang, let me know next time you zoom in. Wu Lioqi was not surprised, but he didn't expect it to come so suddenly. When raising his knife to block the source beast's grab, Wu Lioqi couldn't help but said angrily, I'll go, you want to sneak attack me? Roar. The source beast roared angrily, and as it waved its claws, endless black energy filled the air, as if there were evil spirits entangled in it. The second-level source beasts have a certain amount of wisdom. They are not a race without intelligence, but only the third-level source beasts can speak. At this time, with the addition of Director John, the battle situation suddenly became even. 8 second-level strength battles caused great damage to the battlefield. Plum Blossom 13, who was fighting a source beast not far away, was secretly shocked when she saw this. She didn't expect that there would be such a crouching tiger, hidden dragon in a small chicken island. Although she was surprised that Wu Laoqi's strength had become so strong, what surprised her even more was the old beggar and Director John. She didn't expect that the two of them were so secretive. Director Zhang is slightly weaker, but he can still fight with second-level source beasts, and the old beggar looks on par with his master. Sky Eye. While fighting, Mai Hua Shichen used the secret technique of Sky Eye taught by her master. This is a magical power similar to video live broadcast, which allows her to communicate with her master who is far away in the sky, and the other party can also see the scene here. Master, please take a look here. Mai Hua Shichen fought while broadcasting the live scene to Qingfen. What is this? Qingfen couldn't help but be surprised when she saw the source beast. Although this monster looks like a human, it is obviously not a human. Master, these monsters are called source beasts. As she said, she relayed what Wu Laoqi had said to her before to Qingfen. I don't know the specific situation, but when I see them, my body will unconsciously feel disgusted. I know, how is your situation there now? Qingfen asked again. Master, I didn't expect that Zaiji Island is so hidden and has so many strong people. As she set her sights on Wu Laoqi and others. Lan Minghua, Zhang Willian, and I didn't expect them to be here. Qingfen's eyes were solemn. Director Zhang didn't count, her strength was still a little behind Qingfen, but Lan Minghua and Wu Laoqi had to be taken seriously by him. He naturally knew Lan Minghua's identity, but he had no confidence that he could beat the other party, who was an extremely skilled player. As for Wu Laoqi, he was once a shadow assassin, and his strength was a little behind him. But just looking at Wu Laoqi's current battle, he didn't expect that he was already on par with himself, which surprised Qingfen. You said, Qi. Could Wu Laoqi be the former shadow assassin Qi? Mai Hua 13 was shocked when he heard this. He didn't expect Wu Laoqi to have such a big background, that he was the famous Suanwu country's strongest assassin Qi. Wu Laoqi? I didn't expect that he actually changed his name. Qingfen smiled when he heard this. Then he looked at Iron Man, and his surprise was even greater. This person looks like he is from the country of Stir, but I have never heard of him. Moreover, his strength is so strong. It seems that I have not been out of the world for a long time and I don't understand this world anymore. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 25 Qingfen arrives. Master, there are a few I have never seen before, that kind of power. I want to know if we can reach that level through martial arts. Mai Hua Shichen thought of the 3 Uchiha Madaras who were far away from here. She just saw that person in front of her and turned into a giant several tens of meters tall, which almost broke her 3 views. What do you mean? Qingfen was stunned when she heard the words. From Mai Hua Shichen's tone, she must have seen something incredible. The battlefield today is incredible enough. Is there anything more incredible than now? Qingfen couldn't help thinking in her heart. Master, why don't you come here in person? Mai Hua Shichen couldn't explain it clearly, so she had to say so. Wait for me, I'll be there soon. Qingfen didn't hesitate and got up and went to Chicken Island. In fact, he had been near Chicken Island for a long time. With his strength, it wouldn't take much time to get here as quickly as possible. After closing the Sky Eye, Mai Hua Shichen continued to fight with the Source Beast. Before, she had been fighting with the Sky Eye, which caused her to passively defend. Now she can finally fight to her heart's content. Oh my god, why is it so scary here? At this time, behind a huge rock not far from the battlefield, Chi Daveo was holding Xiaofei and trembling. Xiaofei, let's listen to Achi and stay away from here. It's too scary. I'm so scared that my chicken legs are soft. Chi. Xiaofei was obviously worried about Wu Laoqi and wanted to rush over to help, but was held tightly by Chi Daveo. Xiaofei, you don't want to die. Don't you see that Achi has become so powerful now? We just dragged him down in the past. Chi Daveo pulled Xiaofei and persuaded him hard. Chi. Xiaofei was stunned when he heard it, and finally calmed down and no longer dared to go to the battlefield. I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Chi Daveo looked at the fierce battlefield and couldn't help wanting to go back, but he was held back by Xiaofei after a few steps. Xiaofei, what are you doing? We have to leave here quickly. Chi Daveo looked at Xiaofei and said with a sad face. Chirp chirp. You want to see if they are okay in the end? Okay, then we'll be here. Don't get close to them, understand? Chi Daveo said helplessly. Shua. At this time, a figure passed over Chi Daveo's head, making him look up. A man in a black gown appeared on the battlefield. The man had long white hair and looked to be in his 20s. He had an eye patch on his right eye and 2 swords hanging from his waist. It was Qingfen who hurried over. Oh, this guy is here too. That's right. His apprentice is here. It's impossible that he doesn't know what happened. Lan Minghua, who was fighting, heard the sound and saw Qingfen with an expressionless face. Why is this guy so difficult to deal with? In terms of strength, I can easily deal with it, but every time I hit a part, it will grow back immediately. The weak spot on the chest is too hard. It has been so long and only a little crack has appeared. Lan Minghua turned around and looked at the source beast in front of him. He couldn't help but have a headache. He used the skills again and slapped the crystal on the chest of the source beast with one palm, finally making the crack a little bigger. Master, you are here. Mai Hua Shichen saw Qingfen and said hurriedly. Well, leave it to me. Qingfen nodded, and then put both hands on the hilt of the sword. Mai Huashizen saw this and quickly stepped aside, leaving the battlefield to Qingfen, and reminded, Master, the weakness of this monster is the crystal on the chest, otherwise it will not be able to kill the opponent. Qingfen did not answer, but directly drew out the sword in his hand. Shua. With a flash of sword light, the source beast in front of him was split into two from the chest and was killed instantly. After dealing with this one, Qingfen came directly to the next source beast, and cut down another source beast with a knife. After all, it was only a first-level source beast, and it was no effort in front of Qingfen, who was also a strong man in the second level. Because of the appearance of Qingfen, the battlefield became relaxed, and Dachshund and the cats and dogs also had a chance to breathe. Why is he here? After performing the secret technique of White Lotus blooming, Director Zhang had to solve the battle as soon as possible, otherwise she would have to exit the state sooner or later, so she was always in a state of high concentration. At this time, she suddenly heard the scream of the source beast's death, and then she had time to take a look, and found that Qingfen had come here. As one of the 7 shadow assassins, Qingfen must know him, not to mention that Jia is one of the shadow assassins, and she is also a martial artist, so she will pay attention to the information of shadow assassins. However, she didn't know the relationship between Mai Huashizen and Qingfen, so she was a little surprised by Qingfen's arrival, but since the other party came, the balance of the battlefield was finally broken. Who's here? Qingfen. It should be Miss Mei who called him over. Wu Liuqi was stunned when he heard the words, and then he saw Qingfen. Because he was familiar with the plot, he knew the relationship between Qingfen and Mai Huashizen, and also knew that the other party was once his colleague. After Qingfen solved all the first-level source beasts, he first found Lan Minghua and planned to solve the source beasts with him. After all, Lan Minghua was the strongest among the people present. When Lan Minghua was free, he could solve the battle faster. You are here, I can't hold on any longer, let's solve it together. Lan Minghua smiled at Qingfen who came. Senior, you are joking. If you can't hold on, no one can stop this monster. Qingfen smiled and responded. With Lan Minghua's age and status in the martial arts world, Qingfen deserves to call him a senior. After all, when Lan Minghua was wandering in the martial arts world, Qingfen had just learned to hold a sword. With Qingfen's joining, the battle became easier all of a sudden. In addition, Lan Minghua had no weapons before, so the damage to the source beast was limited. Although his palm skills are strong, they are all used to deal with people. It is really uncomfortable to deal with monsters like the source beast that are not afraid of being injured. With the combined efforts of the two, the battle was resolved in less than a minute, and then they went their separate ways to help others. Qingfeng found Wu Liuqi, and Lan Minghua found Director Zhang. Poor Tony, because of his fighting style, these people regarded him as a Stir countryman, so he was somewhat unwelcome. Since ancient times, Stir and Suanwu have been fighting each other, which has also caused the people of the two countries to hate each other, and Stir always loses more than it wins, so the people of Suanwu look down on them. Everyone present, except for Uchiha Madara and his group, all the others were from Suanwu country, even Wu Liuqi was from Suanwu country, so it was normal for these martial artists to dislike Tony. Tony was helpless seeing this. He had read the original plot and knew about these grievances, so he could only bear it silently for the time being, and wait for Wu Liuqi to help him when he was free. Tisk tisk, our Uncle Tony is really miserable. Conan looked at Tony's miserable appearance, and Qingfen and Lan Minghua tacitly didn't help him first, and couldn't help laughing. Conan, how can you say that? Uncle Tony is so miserable, ha ha ha. Xiao wanted to persuade Conan, but seeing that Tony, who had always been so showy, was so miserable, she couldn't help laughing. Hey? Is this a battle? At this time, Honkai suddenly came online. He had been wandering in the universe, and this time he was finally able to take a break, so he rushed over to take a look as soon as possible. Hey, Kai, you're here. Saitama, who had been hiding, also appeared. Since helping Kai last time, Saitama and the others have had a good relationship and often chat in private. Yes, Senior Saitama. Kai responded after hearing this. Look, Qingfen and Achi have met. I guess he will be confused when he sees Achi become so strong. At this time, Conan suddenly spoke up, and everyone's eyes turned to Wu Liuqi's battlefield again.